Welcome to Warrior Class.
Where the teachers will pass.
And you will too if you pass. Now, today we're dealing with defeating a larger opponent. And we have a special guest with us today.
A large opponent.
A larger, yeah.
Peace.
Hakeem Bobala.
He's not
And Hakeem Bobala is a master instructor at the African Martial Arts Institute. He's been on here before. And today he's on here because he's a rather large fellow.
Yeah.
Like all British people. in England, he's considered like a very tiny guy. A little person.
Too big for this small table. Definitely. Pleasure to be back.
But
when he was on the show, I missed that.
You probably were out of town.
I have a series of questions for
going all over the world.
Large Africans from England, and I didn't get a chance to ask them. I know we don't have a lot of time this show, but I like to bring them back.
Yeah,
When you get a chance, we have a lot of questions.
Absolutely. Whenever you're ready.
So we're gonna get into the question portions as Ominiki saunters in. We know how Ominiki does, so she's gonna saunter in here.
So. As you, while Ominiki is rushing in at her fashionably late time, we're going to ask you to please share the stream.
Yes.
We're back on YouTube. There's been some technical difficulties.
Yes. This is our first week back. Well, we were gone for a week. We were on Facebook and everything, but we got a strike against it. BPM got a strike, and YouTube didn't explain the strike. So they kicked us off of YouTube for a week.
273.
Also, and just one second. Also, the other day, the other day, when I was watching Remix Morning Show, and the ear doctor played a certain thing. Played Gloria Hendry. I told my story about Gloria Hendry when I met Gloria Hendry. She threw a kick over my head at 70 years old.
Wow.
But he did a tribute to Gloria Hendry, but played a scene from Cleopatra Jones. And she said she'll turn this dude into a sick, the word that a lot of people used to say for gay dudes, sick F.
Oh,
right. And at the end of it, Jared just said, "I'll see y'all on Twitch." But they didn't kick us off again, thank goodness. Because I was watching like, oh boy, well, get ready to be on Facebook again. And we are still on Facebook. For those on Facebook, you see us there. But we're also here on YouTube. I'm glad to be here. Now, weirdly, I'm in the comments, but I don't see the folks that you see. Oh, here we go. All right, here we are. All right, now, greetings everybody.
Peace.
Franny French, Quaker Anarchist, 40J Blaze, Raquel E. It's almost like Raquel E's next to me or something.
I know, it's always like
I know. Tressa 273. We got,
Quaker Anarchist.
Good folks. Yeah, we got some good folks in here. So now we're going to get to the questions with Hakeem Bobala.
Did we already tell too? This is going to be only a 1 hour show, so we're going to run through this. There's an event going on today, and we have we were paid off to end the show early. So
I wish.
Waiting for that cash out.
I wish that payment would have been dope.
Greetings, Brother Eugene Mason.
Yes.
All right.
All right. So we're gonna get
first of all
to the questions.
Why are British men taking our women? I'm sorry. Wrong show. That's another show. Okay. I'm sorry. That's the wrong line of question. Let me get to the right line.
I've been married 22 years. British man ain't taking my.
I ain't got no woman. I'm sorry.
So that's the question to ask. But
sorry.
All right. So
let's focus.
First question.
All the movies. Sorry. Okay. Seriously though. Just how big are you, Hakeem Bobala? What is your height, your weight?
I am 6'4", and as of this morning, I'm 243 pounds.
Are you proud? Just like you lost something?
I lost like 3 pounds.
Okay. So are you? That's what you do. You want to lose right now? Is that what you?
No, my target weight. It's not really about weight per se. It's about muscle versus fat or whatever.
Right.
So, but I feel comfortable walking around at 230, 235.
No, I just want to tell you.
When he first moved there, you were what,
About what I am now.
Okay.
Yeah, it's probably 245.
So just to give y'all an idea, if you've seen me, how massive I look in person, I'm at least about 1.5 inches shorter than him, and I weigh about 180 right now. So I'm
You scored
165.
165.
Look. There's no way that could be one. You see that? That's about 60 pounds right there by itself. So I'm just saying. Yeah.
Ice cold.
I don't know if you see it on camera. He's a big dude.
Now I'm 203 now. I was 210, but they pulled my teeth out. So I'm down.
I can vote like, have you always?
Wait, he hasn't finished his questions yet.
Oh, no, outside how tall is
you did how much weight you did? Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You know.
Have you always been big, like even when you were a child?
Yeah, I was. We didn't do percentiles back then or whatever. My kids now. My youngest is 4 years old, and he's 100 percentile. Everything you can see, when you go to the doctor, they tell you. But back in London, they weren't doing that then. You just knew because of your classmates. Or
Did you know your sons measure like how people like? I don't remember
offhand about the inches and everything. My wife does.
Okay,
I think he was. I think I knew maybe roughly, but I know percentiles though.
Right.
So I know my eldest child. He's been flirting with the 80s, 90s, that kind of thing. But my youngest has always been 100 percentile everything. Whereas, so coming back to me, I would say it's funny. My perspective. I've always been big, tall, size wise and everything. But I can honestly say I've never been the biggest because I come from a big family. And even at school, there was always, I just remember this one white girl that was taller than me in my class. She was always taller than me in primary school. And then there's always been 1 or 2 people that have been bigger. And in my familial line, I've always had cousins that are bigger than me. So it's like I'm big, but I'm never the biggest. So that's
family.
Your mother's 6 feet.
My mother's 6 feet. My dad was 6'2". I'm 6'3", but I have 5 brothers. 2 of my brothers are very young, but the other 3 brothers are all taller than me. So I'm the eldest, but I'm the shortest. I was a preemie baby, so I was, I came out in week 33, some 33 weeks. Wow. I was tiny coming from the hospital. My mother jokes about saying that they told her that she needs me to feed me an amount per month that she thought it was per week. So she was just stuffing my face and everything. So, but I grew quickly. And as a kid, again, never the biggest, but big.
So how has being a big child and now a big man affected how you deal with others and how they deal with you?
That's a great question. I think that the way that I deal with people, the way it's been affected is, and I would put it into 2 categories. I almost feel like there's women and small men, and then other regular sized men / large men. They're kind of 2 categories. So with women and small men, typically I feel that I seek to be non-threatening most of the time. So I smile a lot more. I've learned to smile a lot with people when I first meet them. I've learned to kind of shrink myself a little bit if I want to be non-threatening. Of course, I grew up in London. So in London, you're walking around and you're interacting with a lot of people all the time. So in that kind of context, especially in that kind of place, with European women and things like that, they just see you as this big threat. So you're already a black dude, and now you're big, and whatever. So walking behind people. I don't like doing that. I move out of the way to announce myself, because when people turn and see this big dude, it's like, they freak out. You know, that's been historically what I've seen. So, yeah, the way that it's meant that I interact with people is slowing down, letting them see me first, you know. And then the way people interact with me, I feel that, you know, if I don't do those things and they just approach, back then when I was a kid, it was always like people want to either challenge you, so you get, you know, small man syndrome type situation that happens, or you get people that are just fearful. I don't know if they just think in their mind that this big dude's just gonna lose it and eat them alive or something. I don't know, but I've definitely, you can sense that energy when people are uncomfortable by size until you speak, until they kind of touch your energy a little bit, then that kind of subsides. But that's how that's affected me.
Yes.
I don't remember
Teacher,
you smiling when you met me.
well, teacher told me years ago, me and some other students at my school were wilding out doing some stuff, and he caught us. They ran off, you know. Well, we all ran off. He said, "Adam, come here." So I come over there. He said, "Look, man," he was black, like 6'7". He said, "You know, you can't do what the other children do." He said, "Because you're always going to be caught." He said, "You know why?" I said, "Why? Because I'm black?" He said, "No, man." He said, "Because you're tall."
Yeah.
He said, "I get caught up. I get, you know, they always see me.
Yeah.
So you're tall, you're going to get caught." So did you ever have those kind of issues where?
Oh, absolutely. So there's one situation where I spoke about this the other day. So my life was always it was conflicted in a way that I went to certain types of schools, which meant I was an outsider. I was blessed to be able to get scholarships into certain types of schools where their life was different than my life. So I went to these private schools from 11 to 16 and gifted programs and things like that, where these kids' lives, they didn't understand where I was from. So I connected with my family and the street, because when I walked, they didn't see me as this gifted mathematician. They saw me as dude from the block. So there was this kind of dichotomy in the way that I moved. So there were friends of mine who I grew up with who went down a different path, right? And I remember being 16 and I was with this brother who was a good friend of mine. And actually, when we were younger, he was somebody who got bullied, where he was that stereotypical person that got bullied and then ended up being the bully down the road. So this dude, at the time that I'm kind of talking about now, he was heavily into drugs. He was robbing folks, sticking folks up. He was in every kind of crime you could think of, fraud, all of that. But he was just somebody that I knew from a long, long time ago. So we were rolling this particular day, and he decided that he wanted to rob these two dudes. We were in this Jewish area, and he saw these two dudes, and he wanted to, you know, take their money or whatever. So he pulls out a knife, and he's getting them to give out their watches and everything else. Like, it was a point of pride for him. This was his life, right? And I'm standing there, and I'm like, you know, I felt sorry for the little dudes, and I'm like, oh, you know, why are you doing them like that? But, you know, this dude's aggressive. He's got a knife. He's my boy. I know his temperament. You ain't supposed to just get in there and start stopping anything, right? He's just doing what he's doing. So I'm like, okay. But I'm talking to them, trying to calm them down and make them feel okay, and be like, don't worry, man, just give me your good stuff. You'll be all right. Yeah, that kind of thing. But don't worry about it. You good. So, but I spoke to one of them. He was a skateboarder. I'm like, oh, you got a skateboard and this and that. I like skating and this and that. He's getting rolled for everything he's got, right? But I'm the nice guy, but I really did feel for him.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I'm like, just do this so you don't get hurt. You know, that's basically how it goes. So we end up getting caught up, like one of them some kind of way. I don't know if they had a cell phone or somebody saw it or whatever, but police came and they kind of surrounded us. We're at this train station and we run and I'm following this dude and I'm like, you know, not thinking. I'm 14, 15, and I end up on the train tracks and we run away and then dogs come and all this kind of shit. We end up getting caught. And so we get arrested, we get taken in. And I'm not supposed to be here. Like, I'm just not. So we in the cell and they're questioning us, and I'm telling them, hey, look, this is what happened. We ended up on a train track. I don't know what my boy said, so we didn't rob anybody. As far as I'm concerned, we were talking to these guys, and next minute dogs come, and I'm worried about getting bitten, so we just run to the train tracks. So we sitting there having this conversation, and then, you know, this is gonna go bad for you. This is gonna go bad for you. This, that, and the third. And in the end, the attorney comes and says, you know, you are free to go. And I'm like, whoa, what happened? Well, the first thing was, sorry, let me go back up a point. They told me, I said, I didn't do anything, you know. They said, we've got the witnesses' statements. They said that, you know, you robbed them and this and that and this, and you were, you know, all of this, like this, all the stuff that actually happened. Mm-hmm. But then they want to say that, this is one of the dudes said that you said you're bringing your boys and they all got guns and they're coming to shoot them and this and that and this and that and this. This is the guy that I didn't speak to. So that's how that went. And so I said, I didn't say none of that. I don't know what you're talking about, this, that, and the third. And I get an attorney and I speak to my attorney. My mom's there at that point. And, you know, he's saying, look, it looks really bad, this, that, and the third. And I said, look, I didn't do any of that, right? Mm-hmm. And they said, well, at the end of the day, you were there and you're big and black, you're an intimidation, which means you're a threat. So by being in the space, whatever happened, you're going down.
The DCI told you that?
I don't know what a DCI is, but
one of the detectives.
This was yes. Wow. Yeah, the detective told me that. So, but what happened in the end is the guy that I spoke to, he came forth and his story was entirely different. He was like, the light-skinned one, he was robbing us. And that one, the dark one, he was being friendly and he was trying to stop it happening, or, you know, he was cool. He was okay. So one of them said, I'm like the heavy aggressor who's bringing people with guns. And the other one was saying this. So the case just got closed and dismissed and we walked away. And you know, after that, I didn't really roll with that dude anymore because because for him, that was just one of multiple cases that he had at that time and was going that way. He started getting into a bunch more stuff, but it opened my mind to see, just by me being there, not doing anything, just being with certain folks, just because I'm deemed to be, you know, a threat, just by my presence. So that was big. That was eye-opening for me. But, you know, of course, I grew up in an era where stop and search, and, you know, you're a big black dude, and black anybody, doesn't have to be black big. Just walking down the street, they're gonna, you know, grab you up and search you and put you in the back of the van and try and hit you and all this kind of. That's why I grew up.
Wait a minute, wait. So are you saying that they do that in England? The police?
They would never.
I just thought it was a different type of
They drink tea over there.
I thought they shared tea with each other, and the police and the criminals. Yeah. They played chess and it was all good. Discrimination all over the world, right? I think it's on you, Bob.
No, it's on you.
Oh, excuse me. Right. Oh, right. It is on me. Okay, so what advantages?
Now, wait, real quick. You heard it. He said, "So."
I'm sorry.
Wow, I got you. Actor.
What advantages and disadvantages does a large attacker, in your opinion, does a large attacker have over a smaller victim?
I would say the biggest advantage that a large attacker has is the fact that the smaller person generally, most of the time, believes they're going to lose. They believe that they can't win. So
it's a mental thing.
It's a mental thing mostly. They think that if this big dude swings, if this big dude connects, if this big dude does this, they're already paralyzed in fear. They've lost before they even started. That's the biggest advantage that I see. From a disadvantage point of view, I think, you know, generally bigger attackers will be slower. They load up when not all the time, but just a lot of times, big attackers they're looking for that knockout punch because they got that power and they want it, that one, you know, especially on the street where they want to show to everybody that you know, there's no messing around. So they'll load up into a big strike, you know, haymaker type situation. And that's a disadvantage. Another disadvantage is that big folks believe the hype. So that mental thing that we talked about, they think their shit doesn't smell. They think they're able to defeat any small person.
I can definitely speak to the even when I didn't know. So I know Bob knows, I had to take a course when I first got here dealing with police officers because I used to get into it with big police officers. But I really used to get into it with big people, period. If you was big and you was like, you know, I feel like you was trying to punk me, I was quicker to do something. But that was because I was more afraid, really.
Yeah.
When I think about it, you know, even though I was quicker to do it, it's really out of fear.
Yeah.
But you know, big people even so when Akin Bobola first came here, I said, I'm gonna teach you to fight as a small man. Then you can take advantage of your movement as well as your size, right? But when another student came, who I won't name, but you know, came from football.
Yeah.
He was huge. Yeah. He's huge.
Yeah.
He was really, I mean, to the point even where he would, you know, well, he was throwing Kalonji around. I said, you gotta do him like that. And you know, he's pumping up his chest. So I said, I'll go with you. And he really, you know, came at me. And I had to work to put him down. But that in his mind, he's looking like, whoa, this older, smaller dude, you know, got me. And that was a wake up for him. That skill trumps strength.
Yeah. All
day long. What trumps skill though?
More stronger strength.
Well, experience trumps skill.
Right.
Or strength that is so far beyond you. Like it doesn't matter how skilled I am, I can't beat a gorilla.
Right.
Because that is just strength beyond what we can comprehend, right?
Get out of prison.
So it has to be. So it's people like that. I remember one time me and Akin Bobola were talking with my uncle, my you know, uncle by marriage, and he said he can't be wrist locked or something, and I tried to go into the wrist lock on him, and I could not bend this dude's wrist without actually hurting him.
Yeah.
He ain't just, you have to actually be, you know, willing to just tear him because he was so goddamn strong, you know, and that's that old man, also giant, he's like 6'5", giant strength.
Yeah, and what he's saying too when you say skill trumps strength, it might be hard to see if you don't have the skill to see what you know what I'm saying, to see what he's saying, because you need the skill to see where it's effective at. One of the things that I think about is when somebody new comes, like you was talking about, the guy that you was talking about. I know you're talking about real big, real strong, real fast, you know, an athlete, but because they don't understand, he has no experience in martial arts, you know, or self-protection or skills, you know what I'm saying? So he doesn't feel strong. Yeah. You know, as he should when I'm just talking about when I'm touching hands versus somebody that's skilled that could be a lot less strong, can feel so much heavier, so much stronger if you don't have. So it just has something you have to feel when someone has technique and strength. Like this dude over here feels totally different when somebody comes to class that could be stronger. They're stronger than him, bigger than him, but and it's actually fun for me to grab somebody his size that don't have the skill, because now I get to see what my skills is like. You know what I'm saying? Right. Or versus on strength without technique.
Also, a person who's bigger will up your skill level as long as you don't run from it. For sure. When Akin Bobola first came here, there's a certain throw that we would do where you get behind the person, you grab them and you stick one leg out and you throw them over that leg. As you go down to the ground, you throw them over. And everybody was, you know, hitting with that. Yeah. And when he came in, now you're dealing with somebody that is actually a lot of weight. Now what you gonna do? Right? Who also, when he first came in, he wasn't experienced, so he's not going with it. You know, trying not to fall. And as you saw people begin to throw them, they yay! And that's when I'm looking at them like, okay, they really have the technique now.
Yeah, he is.
So don't run also from an opportunity to train with a larger person or think you can't do nothing. I had one student tell me, my brother is a boxer. He's a boxer, not a boxer, boxer, and 300 pounds. And what would you do against him, so and so? He's a boxer, and he boxes you like this. And I called him and knocked him out. Well, first, I was like, trying to talk him down and convince him he a boxer. And I talked to my father, and my father said, knock his ass out. I said, what? He said, knock his ass out. Some people, they learn that way. Don't kill him, but knock his ass out. And when he wake up, he'll understand. I knocked his ass out. He never talked like that no more because he understands that boxer can get knocked out like anybody else.
Yeah.
People ask me, what would you do against Hulk Hogan?
Yeah.
I said before, he'll be whole Hogan.
Yeah.
Because I stick him
Right.
whole. But I'm not going to sit up here and wrestle with Hulk Hogan.
Right.
I'm not doing that. That would be
Right.
stupid.
Right.
I will outbox him, but I ain't trying to box him. I'm trying to end him if we got to touch hands. Right.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take advantage of what I have, but that's not just me, right? If I dealt with somebody on Miniki size, well, you end up full of holes too. It's like don't try to be and so you have to bring your A game because he's a larger man. If he's trained by me, if he's thinking the same way,
Right.
he gonna stick on Miniki.
Because she might be trained by you, and if he up there like, what you got, and
She
she
could
starts
have
sticking
a
in
pistol.
right.
She could have a knife. She could have whatever, right?
Right.
Well, you don't take the chance. I don't care what you have, and that's the way you have to think. Whatever your size is, whatever their size is, these are weapons. Well, a bigger man, they got bigger weapons. They got a lot more power, and as we get up and work technique, surely you're going to see beyond just them doing technique, the actual force. So the one way you train with larger people, what you should always do is put your hand on their chest and let them aggressively come at you and see what you do. Most people will back up because it's the intimidation.
Yeah.
Before they even start pressing. But once they
Yeah.
start pressing, you start moving, right? And it's because you're afraid and you move backwards. And you can always move quicker forward than backwards. So somebody coming at you and they're big too, they'll do you in.
Sure.
Okay. All right, homie Nikki.
How do you use your size and strength in physical? How did you use your size and strength in physical encounters before you started training in African martial arts?
We kind of touched on it here. Using the fact that most people back up when you're a big, strong dude and you step to them. Most of the time they step back. They step off. They don't really want none. So there's a level of aggression as a bigger dude that you can use to diffuse a lot of situations, or really just take the fight to somebody. I would say that just naturally, I've never been this like big fighter, one to kind of call out fights, but I'm a massive protector. So I was telling Bobby the other day, like I got in so many damn fights because I'm the big dude, and if I'm with people and they're getting into it, then I got to step up because I'm not going to be in the back as a big dude, because I know what my place is. So if it's happening now, I'm right there on the front line, and if you're with the wrong people, that can get used against you.
I wonder how many big men are like that, or even big teenagers. How many find themselves in that same
probably lots. There's different kind of big men. Like the brother we were talking about before. There's ones that seek aggression. They seek to lay hands, and then there's a lot of others that don't. I'm not saying they won't. You know what I mean? They will.
They just understand.
They just they know their place. So for me, that's how I used to use my size. It was always I wanted to be on the offensive. I always wanted to get out, to get in front quickly and lay that hands and see them back up, because as soon as they do that, you see their mind just goes like they ain't trying to They're not, once they feel your power or presence and they know you're on it, as we would say in London, they just, it's done, basically. And even if something does go down, at that point, you've really taken their goal. Like they're not really in it at that point. So that's how I would use it. I can count on my hand how many fights. Less than 20% of my fights in my life have gone more than 2 blows, 3 blows. It's always been, some knockout punch, maybe a punch, kick, couple strikes. That's it. It's been not too much. So it's
quick work.
It's always been quick, aggressive, like going for it in that moment. Like I'm not even naturally a super aggressive person, but when I know that I'm engaging like that, then I know, I'm not sitting back. It's always very explosive and forward thinking. So
not super aggressive, but aggressive.
Aggressive.
I tell you, aggressive when it's needed. Yeah, I tell you, just so you know his strength level. And I talked about it before, I believe, on here. We were sparring, and I can mobilize, like, I'm not letting him get close. So he's done Sanshu before, right? Musu Kwan. So he's kicking, and I'm like, God damn it. So I'm getting, you got long legs. So I'm moving around legs. I'm trying to come close. And I get close. Now we got these padded helmets on. So I get close and he swings. I throw up a cover, but that didn't mean shit. And it meant shit. I ain't get knocked out, but he hit me. And I said, oh shit, that was powerful, right? And I it kind of rocks me. And I feel myself move. And when I open my eyes up, I'm about 20 feet from him. He knocked the bejesus out of me. Right? And thank God I had that up. That's the strength. And at that time, I was like 220. Yeah. I gained a lot of weight. I was 220 at that time, and he rocked me like it was crazy. So a person with size and strength, that does matter. In any martial artist telling you size and strength doesn't matter, they're bullshitting you. They're bullshit. I normally say they're bullshitting or they're just ignorant. If an instructor tells you that, they're not ignorant. They've been in this world. Oh, yeah. They know. They're bullshitting you to sell you on their program.
Right.
But that's bullshit. Size does matter. Now, can you take advantage of it and defeat a person? Sure. But you better really know what you're doing and bring your A game, because if not, them just trying to get you off of them, they swing, boom, one connects, and you have a problem. So size and strength does matter. Now, you take size and strength and then you give it skill, that's a very, very dangerous person. So
Franny French is asking, is there a distinction between skill and technique? Are those exactly the same?
No, absolutely not. You can learn a bunch of techniques and never put a lot of work. Somebody just throw a bunch of techniques. I've been to a workshop where famous martial artists, he'll teach 20 techniques during that time. You leave out there totally unskilled because you haven't put in the work on none of them because you ain't got time. Workshops, 8 hours, no, not 8 hours, 5 hours long. 20 techniques. A workshop, you should get about 3 techniques, 4, and they all should, at the most, and they should all stack on each other. Yeah. That means I use this technique with this technique. This builds onto that next technique. Yeah. So it's all really one technique you learn, but you can break that apart and use that in multiple ways. That's how you get a skill. Yeah. But just stuffing techniques in you, that's meaningless, Franny. Yeah. That don't mean nothing. Person said, we got 300 techniques in our black belt program. Well, that's going to be a weak black belt. By the time they get done, they ain't going to know a goddamn thing.
I think she has a question because of how we be talking. Like when like Baba may say, that ain't going to work unless you use technique.
So when I'm talking about that, I'm talking about skill, which is technique that is driven, it's drilled, right. It's worked, this and that.
A particular technique too.
So it can be executed
Exactly.
So you
Now-
hear us in Convo talking like that. That's what
The final question: how do you use your size and strength now? So when Nikki asked, how did you use it before training in African martial arts? How did you use your size and strength now?
It's funny. I would say that I don't. What I tend to do, you touched on it earlier, is I don't go in thinking I've got size and I've got strength, because then it means that I don't bring my A game. I just don't. So when it comes, it's like a bonus.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't think, oh, when I hit this person, I'm gonna knock him out. I used to think that way. I don't think that way in the slightest. I don't think, like, before when I know I'm about to be in an altercation, when something's going down, my energy just goes like through the roof. And I kind of lose my mind a little bit. And it's like, my chest just comes up and it's like, no, like it's not, it's like there's something that comes, but it's all kind of that male bravado, like this. Like now, none of that comes, because that's not me. I'm not in my balanced zone at that point. And I can over and underestimate things like that. So I don't use my size.
just use skill.
I just use skill. And then when it's there, you know.
But now at this point, the skill, size, and strength, they're just attributes.
That's it. It's nice. It's nice to be. I know what I can do, but I'm not gonna. If I think, oh, this is the thing that defeats me, then this is the thing that allows me to defeat this person. Then I can likely not go as hard as I should, or be as intelligent as I should be, or make the right moves, because I think that can bail me out. So I don't use it.
And I'll let you know when we're working technique, like we're doing stuff on the ground, I can mobilize is working. And because of the size, you feel that crushing weight.
Yeah,
but it ain't like you got I'm big, I'm about to crush him.
Yeah, he think about how tight he got you around the neck. It's just me.
And that's
how hard he gets you in the
beauty of
jaw.
That's the beauty of it. Like people will say to me, God damn, that technique's tight.
Yeah.
I'm just doing technique.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
If you thinking I'm gonna be tight,
right.
that job, and when people think like that, I'm gonna be tight like Baba, that's when that shit is just off. It's all stiff.
Yes.
You say, oh, okay, what's this? Get up off me. You know, you're moving them like it's nothing. Don't think about, so you have attributes. If you want to be bigger and stronger, get bigger and stronger.
Right.
Okay. But you're learning your techniques, but you're working on attributes, just working on attributes for yourself.
Right.
You know, I want better health, I want so and so. So you're working out. Even when you work out, I used to work out and say, okay, I want to get big muscles.
Right.
And that shit never came.
Right.
I'm just working out
to
feel better for myself. You know what I mean? And benefits of that they are there now.
Yeah.
But
Ryan talked about
you can't worry about.
You just want to be better than you were, right? You just always seeking to be stronger or whatever.
Exactly.
I'm glad that you are not a very big, strong. I'm glad you're not a big, strong guy as master of an Igby Ogun as a class, and I'll tell you why. Because, and I'm glad I can mobilize and the reason being is because we see you do the technique and perform it, and it's very strong and very, very tight. Mm-hmm. And we know you're not using no strength. Mm-hmm. And we know, you know what I'm saying? It's all technique. You know what I'm saying? So if you were like, I can mobilize size and doing it, I'd be thinking in the back of my head, it's because he's so damn strong at this shit like this.
Maybe.
You know what I'm saying?
Maybe you would think
at
that,
first, probably.
But, and this is patting myself on the back, that's not how he's working technique. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, no, exactly.
So, I mean, but saying that, then there was a point where you think, okay, it's strength.
No, I'm saying
it was never just strength.
Right. I mean, as a knowing nothing coming to the class.
I got you. When they come in,
I would see him thinking, oh, it's because he's strong and he could do this. But you know what I'm saying?
I had people come from out of town when I was in Chicago, and we do workshops. And people come all over the place. We heard about how good you are, master. You know, it's incredible. Looking forward to working with you. They're not talking to me. They're talking to my student Paul, who was 6'4", 265 pounds. This was a big dude.
Right.
2% body fat. He was a monster.
Huge, yeah, that's big.
But he's like, this ain't, and it was that, even his voice, everything is, this, I ain't the master, this the, I mean, everything just aggressive too, but he used technique. This the master right here. And they like, shit, and even I wasn't, they believed him because they scared him of it. This the master. And they, oh, I didn't mean any insult. I said, I'm not insulted because I know, and at that point, it wasn't because I was old, I was in my 20s.
Yeah.
But it's because TB,
Yeah.
and he was older than me, so people not thinking
Yeah.
somebody young,
Yeah.
skinny,
Yeah. Yeah.
you got that kind of
And
skill,
it's technique
right?
wise, sometimes like I wouldn't have believed that what we do is so effective if I didn't see it from you. I wouldn't believe some of the shit so simple because I've been in other martial arts.
Now I understand that they would say he's using strength.
Right. There's no way
Yeah.
I done seen you do shit, and it's strength and technique combined, but it looks amazing. And if I didn't have anything and just walked here, I'd be like, oh, this motherfucker super strong guy, chi, whatever they want to call that shit. He's using chi, like the dude said, and you
I was
wouldn't
fooling my students.
right, and wouldn't think that the technique is so freaking sound. You know what I'm saying? I was thinking of the other day when you was moving, Ode Kool-Aid was in the air and all this, and that was all technique. You know what I'm saying? So
I'll say this.
I'm glad you ain't gigantically buff. I don't know if that makes sense.
I mean, I don't know what you're talking about because I am.
I'm glad you ain't big as I am. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't want you to be all
like,
like, like me.
He ain't. I mean,
I'm
you
cursed.
see all this under this goddamn
gains.
I don't want you cursed like this. I don't want you to have to live like this, Bob.
You know,
Yeah.
y'all can see y'all see the gains up under this sweatshirt. You know, hey, hey.
And then we get to take it from you and see it one way, and then we get to see, and then we get to apply it. It's just
Now, the
great
one thing
system.
I've always wanted, and I've talked about that, I want to have
Sausage
fingers like my father. Bingo. I wanted fingers like my father. Big fingers because he could take a fucking apple and crush that shit with his hands. I want to be able to do that.
Is his fingers bigger than the electrician that we have in
Yeah.
class?
Oh yeah.
He got some
My
fat
father.
guys.
So
I
my
mean,
father.
I ain't
My
gonna
mother
say
would always
his name
say
because
my father's about that size,
Oh, okay.
right? And
Dude.
I never seen him lift weights ever.
Wow.
It was just purely from just physical training and
That's
moving.
what
people.
muscle is.
And
Muscle.
he was, I mean, his fingers were so fucking, that's from growing up on the damn farm and the hills and that, right? But he was in such great shape. You know, my mother always, you ain't in shape like your daddy. Thanks, Ma. You ain't in shape like your daddy. You know, he didn't start getting the gut until he was 65. Okay, Ma, thanks. You know, so, but I always wished that if I had fingers, I got strong ass hands. I got strong grip. But if I had fingers like that,
I wouldn't let you do that. I'd be like,
like,
nah,
woo!
I'm good.
Because he would grab you, feel like he's about to literally crush your goddamn forearm. That is what I want to be able to do.
I can only imagine somebody with your Ashe and like your
That
grip
kind of
Oh my
and that
goodness.
strength
Talking
too.
about wrist locks and shit.
man. So it's
son.
like that's why in those skin grabs. That's why it was effective for him
Lord.
too. So I always wanted that, and I would work out with the job, and he would be laughing. They had these things you put your fingers in them, and it's springs, and you go. They call it eagle claw, and I'm doing like, and he's like, "Boy, you just gonna get yourself arthritis or something the way you working at that thing." And my fingers never got big. Like I got sizable hands, knuckles,
Yeah.
but I don't have big fingers, and that's what I wanted, man. Where I could drive my finger through an apple and shit. That's what I wanted. Now, if I could squeeze an apple, somebody else who got big fingers, Dr. Moses Powell.
You remember you saying?
Dr. Moses Powell took an apple and drove his finger through that. That is the shit I want to do. That's he can have all the chin in the world. He has skinny fingers like my son. He's like, I should break.
I break my finger. I'm trying to do that.
So,
I want to do
all
that.
right, we're gonna get into the techniques now since we've been robbed of an hour.
Yes.
And so we're gonna get into the
5
techniques.
tips on defeating a large attack.
Yeah, so it's gonna be Akinbola and Ominiki, so you can see the size differential.
Right.
And we hope Ominiki don't get too aggressive. We talked about that earlier, that Ominiki get aggressive when she's
aggressive.
nervous. But I said, well, I can mobilize the right one for her because unlike me, I'll be like, I don't give a damn. You know, I bust her up, and you see it. He'll bust her up, and you ain't gonna know that you busted her up. She'll know, and that's the key. All right, so
on behalf of all the other everyone who has worked in African martial arts, that Akebobola has definitely busted all of us up at one point.
but not nearly as much as Amosun. Amosun is known.
I'm trying to think.
I'll be at home.
I have no
way.
Akebobola has never made me bleed.
Now I'll be at home, and
Thank you.
sisters especially would call me. I'll be at home. I didn't make the class right for whatever reason. Sisters would call me and say, "Baba, I'm sending you a picture of what Amosun did." They tell me. I mean, they can send me a picture. This is what Amosun. I said, "What the hell?" She's smiling, but you got a bloody mouth. I said, "The hell, Amosun? What you doing?"
So are we just going to take these? You want me to read?
No,
them?
yeah. So we'll go through it.
All right.
Number one.
Number one, 5 tips on defeating a larger attacker. Number one is dodge strikes. You don't block them. So, just in case you guys know, an aggressor
And why you doing
who is
that?
bigger than you is also likely to be stronger. So it's not recommended that you try to stop their attacks directly. Instead, you want to stay mobile to swiftly escape from their punching range. Making them chase you will exhaust them, and with every missed attack, they'll lose a little more steam. If there's no chance of getting to a safe distance away, slide your head to the outside of the punch so that it passes by harmlessly, and then immediately rush and hit back. You've seen that before. That's a slip. Evading is always preferable to blocking because it doesn't require you to absorb force with any part of your body. We always tell you avoidance is the highest. It's the highest level of self-defense and self-protection. Stay light and poised on the balls of your feet so that you can change direction quickly and keep them guessing. Since the reach is longer than yours, stay safely outside of it until you're ready to move in and counter with a strike or takedown of your own. One method you could employ is to dance or move in a circle of motion around your opponent while staying outside of their striking range. When you sense a punch coming, you duck, dodge, make sure you're too far away for it to connect. Dodging a punch using only head movement is known in boxing as a slip. Slipping punches is an excellent way to avoid being hit while expending minimal energy. We'll demonstrate the slip.
So we about to start slipping?
Yes.
All right.
So I can go. I'm gonna punch at Ominiki. She's going to slip. Now it doesn't. So punch with your left first. Yeah, left. No, slip to the outside. She slips that way. Now come back in. Do it again. So what she's going to do is almost like she's throwing a punch. With he throws with his left, she's throwing with her left, and she's going to dip her legs. So dip your weight as she twists her hips. So she's pushing that shoulder towards him. Then his punch goes over her shoulder. Remember, this is a big guy, so you don't want to be blocking. He punches again with the left. Yes. Now, come back. He punches with the right. If she still goes the same way, he punches with the right. Now punch right where she's at. And see, that one, it went past it. Now that you don't want to do, but if you happen to do that, it's okay. Just dip your leg more. So this leg is straight. You got to bend it more. Go right. There you go. That's what you want. So that is called a inside slip. You really don't want to do that because you got that other hand. But if you do that, don't freak. It's just there. Okay, you did it. It is what it is. Let me get in there real quick. I don't believe in mistakes in combat, okay? Your body moves that way for a certain reason. He punches. I'm out here. That other hand comes. Well, it better be ready to work. I said you got to bring your A game. If all you know is to slip, he said, "Oh my God, I went the wrong way," and he's coming at my face here. Well, slip again. Now you're out. When you do a slip, it's a big person, right? Throw this hand. Once you slip, you can't allow him to keep throwing punches. So give him something. His kidneys are right here. Slam either that hammer that we talked about, that outside hammer, slam it in there, or if you know how to do a hook, you can hook punch. And I'm keeping my head close to his arm so he doesn't usually get inside about that. Or I could throw a hook punch into that depending on how far I am. If you're a smaller person, you're not going to have the hook punch. You're too far away. So throw your hammer to his kidneys if you can reach him. If not, throw him into his rib cage. Hard. Throw. Hard. Throw.
The hammer fist before. I've seen these techniques just used in a different way.
Throw. We work those, right? Right. So hit, or hit. Now you can uppercut his ribs, uppercut to his ribs. Whatever you have to do, you have to hurt him so he's up off you because it's a big dude. And then start moving so he doesn't continue to be on you. Okay, that's slip. That's important. The reason why we say slip, you talked about not blocking, right? I told y'all he punched, and hook punch. I covered and I flew.
Right. Well,
imagine if I was close to that wall, brick wall, and boom, I fly, boom, this side of my head hits. Bad day. Even if I'm here and then I throw the other cover up, I'm against the wall now. And then I'm going to get worked. So it's better to evade those strikes as opposed to blocking. And that's in life, period. If I was dealing with Ominiki, it'd be better for me to evade strikes. If she come over here, if she's getting ready to punch at me, this is one thing. That's one level of skill, right? Where I'm doing this. Go ahead, punch, right? Yeah, I get to do that. Well, that's fine. Punch with the other hand. You know, that's all cool for somebody that's been training for 50 years. Most of us have not. Okay. Most of us ain't been training for a year, ain't been training for 6 months. If you've been doing everything that we've done on this show, you've been training for almost 2 years without the benefit of somebody tweaking your technique. So the best thing is even she punches, just get off of that and then strike from there. So they didn't strike you, but you're striking them. Okay, that's called getting off the line. Where's your vision when slipping? Okay, good. Thanks, James. When she punches, I'm slipping. I'm actually looking at her. You try not to look in the eyes. I'm trying to look at her sternum. I can't because the arm's there, but I'm imagining looking at the sternum. So I'm actually looking at her arm. Okay. I'm looking towards her. So the way it would look, she's punching, I'm off. I'm looking still this way. Punching, I'm off. My head still looking that way. I don't go here. I go here. Okay. Here. So I'm looking like right in line with that shoulder that's punching. So I'm looking at my opponent at all times. Okay. Next, I think it's Ominiki.
Get in close. So I'll read her while she's in.
Okay.
When your opponent is least prepared, close the distance between you and move in close. Between you and them and move in close. This will neutralize their superior size and reach and put them in the right range to land some hard shots of your own. Finding the right timing and approach for getting in close is paramount for emerging victorious. You cannot win a fight with a bigger attacker by playing to their strength. When negotiating range with a bigger opponent, the most important thing is to remember. The most important thing to remember is to stay out of the danger zone. This is the range at which they can hit you, but you can't hit them back due to their added reach. Move in suddenly after dodging the blow, or feint one of your own to follow your opponent's punch, or arm back as they redirect.
For time's sake. So she's here, getting the fighting position. Throw your punch out. Throw your punch out. She can't reach him. Did you see that?
That's the danger.
He's hit her. That's the danger zone. The danger zone, you have to either be outside of it, come back, punch, and now neither one of you is doing nothing, or he punches and you're inside of it. That's where you want to be. That's why we say get close. Come back. So to do that, punches, slips, and now you're in here, right? You're in. Either you slip inside, you're in, or punch this hand. You slip outside, you're in, and I can grab and things of that nature. All right. So you want to be, and from here, you're smaller. Best thing would probably be to grab their legs. Grab the legs, hug them, and just ship your hips, take them down.
The one mistake people do when they grab you is think you have to lift up. You do not.
No, just turn and bring them down. Don't lift up. Go down with them. Okay.
That's a WWE slam.
Now, use the element of surprise. If you suspect things are about to take a nasty turn, be the one to make the first move. Always. I don't have to read that no further. And we'll end on this one. So he's a big dude. He's talking. Now, like I said, this. Want me to come in here real quick? Put your hand on his chest. And now just both hands. And stand strong base. So he's not just pushing you. Put one foot back. And then just be aggressive. God damn it. What you gonna do? Talk to him. We there. Do you feel the power in that? Stop. You feel the power in that?
Yeah.
You see where she's just moving, her arms collapsing and shit? Now, come out of here. Now, me, I'm over 200 pounds. Give it to me.
We there.
See, that,
We there.
I moved. I wasn't trying to move. That's a lot of power in that aggressiveness. So you got to move first. You say, hey, sir. And he gets aggressive.
We there.
Boom!
Yeah.
So what I'm doing, hitting to the throat, you practice it by hitting the chest.
You've seen that before. That's the line, man.
So, hey, my hands are up.
Talk about
And
that.
then they just come forward. If he gets close in on me, you can step back. That's okay. This foot stays because we don't move backwards. So he steps in. Oh, boom. I just need that room to boom, slam that into his throat.
Because
Hit
the
it.
throat is a sensitive, delicate target.
Once you hit the throat, you can take off. You can hit the throat, hit the jaw, hit the throat, hit the liver. Whatever you're gonna do, just don't get caught up in your ego. You hit the throat, say, I effed him up. Now, yeah, baby. And you're doing all this, I just hit his throat. Because once he recovers, you got a problem. Because he's gonna do that for a couple seconds. Yeah, and then he's gonna be pissed. You, and now you got a problem. And he's gonna protect that throat. The one advantage you have is you go again like that, his hands gonna go up. But now you better know what to do. So I was hitting his throat, even me. If you ever see me have to do that, I'm gonna hit big person's throat, and then I'm gonna run. I'm gonna be running. So you hit the throat, you go. Well, you hit the throat and you do to the best of your ability. All right. But never let your ego be involved. Because whatever I do after that, it's not going to be ego. It's going to be necessity or what have you. Okay. Ego would be I hit him and then I grab him and suplex him.
Right.
There's no such thing as a dirty fight. Remember that. Also, dealing with a bigger
And
opponent.
that would be hilarious if I suplex him. The only way I would do that if I was in front of my wife and children. I look at the wife and the babies and just give it to him.
If I hit a big one in the throat in front of him, he paused and be like, "See what I did to him?"
Or hit to the throat and then spinning kick or something like that. You can do something like that. If you have that capacity, then call me. We'll have you on as a guest. But hit to the throat, get gone, or whatever. Just get them off you. I didn't say push now. You push a big dude, you got a problem. I push and he grabs me. Oh shit. Now you have a problem.
Yeah.
So either do it or die. This is do or die for real. Either do it, hit him in his throat, or don't and expire. Because if you half-ass what you're doing, you're going to lose. You're going to and just lose against a person that's larger than you. Friend of mine, Anthony, fighting this dude. I felt sorry. This is bad when you feel sorry for a motherfucker. That both of y'all want to whip their ass. And he said, man, you go ahead and go home, man, because I had a new baby. my oldest at the time. He said,
You always got a new
he
baby.
said, oh, yeah. He said, well, that was 36 years ago. But he said, you go home, new baby, you know, relax with your baby. I got him. He grabs this dude by his Jerry curl a long time ago. And he's hitting him, boom, and you're hearing cracking. You're just hearing shit crack. Crack! Crack! I mean, crack. He's breaking his goddamn jaw.
Oh, I'm about to see this.
Breaking his cheek. He's just breaking him up. I feel sorry for the dude. I said, Andy, you ever got to do him like that, do you? He said, man, just go home. Bah! He's just breaking him up. Boom! The dude's on his knees. I know he's unconscious already. He's just steady. Boom!
How do you hold on to that curl with the gel?
Because he's so strong.
Oh, okay. I'm like,
And that's just, it'll slip through my fingers.
yeah. No,
Like,
person
he had
can't
fingers
hold
like
on
my
to that
father,
curl
so he
like
had
that.
them big. That's why I also want big fingers so I can grab people's Jerry curl.
Good point. Good point.
See, because they bring that Jerry curl back, I'm gonna grab shit out your Jerry curl. And so that is what can happen to you with big people. They got a lot of power. So do not push. Actually go for what you gotta go and get gone, or do the best of what you know. You got me? Because your A game could be running. Okay. All right. So that's our time. Love y'all. Stay black or whatever it is that you may be. Thank you, Akin Bobola, for your time
Yes, sir.
and your
Appreciate
wisdom.
Master Akinbobola.
Peace.
Peace.
Shout out to 40J Blaze. I'm glad it's working for you.
Shout out to all the people who have to deal with
What's
big
working?
guys in
Come on,
class,
yeah,
like myself.
Oh, cool.
Shout out to these skinny dudes. I love it.
You see what I'm saying?
And little fellas,
See this
little
one?
fellas like this here.
So
You know, we love y'all little fellas.
Fade to that.
We love
Fade
y'all
to
little
that.
fellas, but wear some stacked shoes from now on,
You know
fellas.
what I'm saying?
Platform.
Fade to that.
All right, now I'm just messing with y'all. All right, love you.